Military chose the day of his visit to Damascus to launch a full-blown assault on the city of Idlib.
It's being attacked from all directions now, in a house-to-house search, and the street, shooting, and every 2 minutes one missile, and in between always machine guns running, and I wonder now if you can just hear it.
Could it be a coincidence? Or is it a message clearly telling Mr. Annan not to expect too much? Just one of a series of events making the UN envoy's job more and more difficult. Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, also chose this day to address the Arab League at its Cairo headquarters. The Russians agree with President Bashar al-Assad that there's a terrorist uprising in Syria. Mr. Lavrov said that if the West withdrew its support for the opposition, then a new resolution at the United Nations Security Council would have a chance. That would mean a total change of position for major Western powers and the Arab League.
The cessation of violence from either source, the creation of an impartial and independent monitoring mission, no external interference, no hindrance to the delivery of humanitarian assistance to the Syrians, and firm support for Kofi Annan's mission with the goal of starting a political dialogue between the government and all the opposition groups on the basis of the mandate which has been approved by the UN Secretary-General and the Arab League.
Some of this is not acceptable to the Arab League, which has called for President Assad to step down and for outside peacekeeping troops. They have said they will issue a new resolution of their own after their next meeting in Baghdad.
It is time to give effect to the proposal of sending Arab and international forces to Syria.
So one question is how far the Russians can force the Arab League to accept their demands. While this was happening in Cairo, the Syrian president was telling Kofi Annan that he too was open to negotiation, but only if the so-called armed gangs were stopped. It ended up looking like the Russians and Syrians were working in tandem, a joint approach to the Arab League and the United Nations. Whatever the case, the diplomatic standoff allows more time for the Syrian military to continue its assault. Laurence, Al Jazeera.